Okay, hello everyone. Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be doing something very exciting. I'm going to be reacting to a video. I love watching reaction videos. I've just never done it myself because I feel like I don't have anything to react to, but finally I have something to react to. My friend Ben Marriott, who's an incredible animator, he also has a YouTube channel. I've spoken about him before actually. He animated my cover for Bandits. So my picture book is now available for pre-order. Please go and subscribe to Ben. He's incredible. His attention to detail is incredible. As a digital animator, he pays so much attention and has respect for like traditional art forms and tries to incorporate those things like textures that he makes traditionally as much as he can. He does a lot of hand drawing stuff. He's very experimental and he's also just super nice and super lovely. And I'm really excited to react to the process of how he made the Bandits cover because I've already seen the animation and I have to say it's fucking amazing. It's so nice. It makes me feel like there's a Bandits Netflix series coming and I'm disappointed that there's not. Okay, should we just start? Is this where we start? All right, I'm gonna put my headphone in. Oh, watch out. Okay, oh my god, I'm so scared. Okay, relax. Okay, ready?
In this video, I'm going to show you how I animated the cover art for the book Bandits.
His intro is so good.
Hi, I'm Ben Marriott and I upload weekly motion design and animation tutorials. I recently animated the cover art for the latest book by Sha'an. Sha'an is a pal of mine who goes by furrylittlepeach online. She's an amazing illustrator and author from Sydney.
I just want to say Ben and I started following each other like a really long time ago. I think we both had like 5,000 followers on Instagram. So we followed each other pre like 2014 because I was looking for an email from him, which I think is crazy. Okay, that's like a little side note. Just want to say, I think I liked him before anyone that's following him on YouTube liked him. So I just want to claim that. All right, okay, back to the video. Okay, go.
Has an incredible YouTube channel where she shares her ridiculously wholesome process and working life. She was also the biggest influence on me starting my channel. Bandits is her second children's book and we thought the cover would be perfect for a looping animation. I animated the frame-by-frame portion of this in Photoshop.
We actually talked about this before he even started his YouTube channel because Bandits was like in process for ages, and when I like wondered if he wanted to animate the characters, I was thinking it would just be like flat, but he went like full crazy. He was like in the best way possible. He recreated my drawings by hand drawing textures. I'm sure he'll talk about it, but it's like, I'm just amazed by how much effort went into this. Okay, relax.
Toolbar with basic animation tools for Photoshop, so you can easily add frames and view onion skins. And I explained how to use that in my first video animating Sha'an's work. I've never actually animated a four-legged walk or run cycle before, except for this dog, but it's floating in space, so that really doesn't count. So I used a lot of reference. First, I tried filming my own dog, but that didn't quite work. So I got it mainly from the legendary Aaron Blaise. And you know they're good when on their website they have testimonials from Oscar-winning directors on there. I started by roughly animating the legs, hips, shoulders, and head to quickly get that running, leaping motion. And the left and right legs are actually identical. I just duplicated them, offset them by one frame, and moved the left leg slightly to the right of screen. I'm animating this at 24 frames per second on 2s, so there's one drawing every 2 frames.
I don't know what he's saying. Sounds like gibberish to me, but it probably makes sense to everyone else.
And this run cycle has a total of 7 drawings. On the next pass, I tidied up those legs so they fit in nicer with the shoulders and hips.
Oh my god,
and then animated his tail and mane.
Ben sent me like whips, like works in progress when he was like doing like this sketching thing. And I was just like, even the sketching stage, I was like, oh my god, this is so amazing. If he like stopped at the sketching stage, I would have been like, wow. Because like, I don't have the skills to put my work in motion like this. When I think of these characters moving, that's in my head, I've never seen it moving like this. So I was like, even when he sent me these sketches, I was like blown away. I remember I was like in a shop and I was like, oh my god. And the person I was with, I was like, look at this is so cool. And he would send me like little updates and then it would just get better and better. It was so amazing.
I'm using the wave principle in the tail so it has that slight whipping motion. And I reduced pretty significantly the amount of bounce in the head because it was just looking too ridiculous before. On the next pass, I added some secondary animation to the raccoon's ears, to its beard, and to the sack on the back as well. In the original cover, the tail is wrapped around holding the sack, but I thought having the tail waving in the wind would be a more dynamic and interesting animation, so Sha'an suggested putting it on the back instead, which I thought was a great solution. Then I roughed in the character animation. They're pretty static except their hair and bouncing clothes. Now I really like the oversized hoodie design on Fig, this character sitting at the front, so I made sure to emphasize just how baggy and billowy that would be in motion. Fern's hair, the character at the back, was the hardest part for me to animate.
The initiative that Ben takes is so amazing. Like when he was saying like he wanted to emphasize how billowy the clothes were, that's exactly how I felt. Like he can look at something and understand how it would move. I'm not like that. I don't think like that. So to me, it's amazing when I'm thinking something. I haven't even talked to him about this and he's just taking the initiative and doing it. He's so good. If anyone needs animation, you have to hire Ben. He's the best.
I actually copied and scaled down the tail to use as reference for that because they would be waving at the same speed. And because the character's hair has this almost triangular shape, as well as having waves on the edges of it, that was really tricky of me to animate into an overall waving motion. So I animated it with straight edges first, where it kind of looks a bit like an axe, and then added the wavy edges on another pass. With the roughs done, I made a quick version of the background animated in After Effects, really to make sure that it would work, with just a few sketches of the trees animating their position property.
I feel like his projects, like I feel like this would have taken him longer than anything I ever work on. Like besides the book itself, he's just like, oh, just quickly mocked up the background in After Effects.
And the trees moving closer are moving much faster to add some parallax and the illusion of depth. And I was pretty happy here, so now it was ready for the cleanup. For the cleanup process, I essentially needed to take these rough animations, turn down the opacity a fair bit, and then draw on top of them with the final colors. And of course, add texture at the same time. I had my reference close by on another layer, and it looked like Sha'an had filled in most of the shapes with a solid color, and then gone over them again on top with pencil in a dense scribble texture.
So smart. He just knows. He just looks at my illustration and he just knows. I would watercolor first and then I put like rough pencil texture over the top. And they're very like similar colors and also it looked grey. So it's like really surprising that he picked up on that.
I started with Bo the raccoon and the first layer I just filled it in all grey. On a second layer I added the main scribble texture and then another layer of texture for the darker layers and tail. Then one for the face animation and then one final layer for the outlines. I really wanted this to look as close as possible to the original artwork.
When he sent this to me, I thought it just was the original, and then I realized that like the texture was moving and it was not the original drawing. He did so well in making it seem like the actual cover and like make it seem like I couldn't even tell the difference. Usually when people like imitate my work or like make duplicates of my work, you can tell that it's not the same thing. This I was just like, wow, like he did so perfect in pulling it off. Like he didn't even ask me any questions. He just did it. It was amazing.
I could have made a looping pencil texture and applied that to the layers in After Effects. I've got plenty of tutorials about that technique, but it wouldn't have had the subtleties by doing it this way, where the scribble is going in the same direction as the outlines on the edges in a few areas. And this is only 7 frames long, so it wasn't that daunting of a task. I did that same process for each character, animating each part on a separate layer, and I didn't redraw the face, hands, and legs each frame because they're pretty static, and it would have been a lot more work to have them looking consistent across all 7 frames, and I felt it was better in this case to have them move in just their position.
This is so cool. I feel like I was like, oh my god, I have to draw these characters so many times when I was doing the book. He has to draw like every single frame, the same pose so many times. I feel like guilty.
And originally I drew Fig's hair far too up on her head, so in my next pass, I moved that hair down, I added Fern and secured the bag. And the last detail I added here was the base of Fern's slipper, flapping as they rode.
Nice detail.
They're Gucci slides, I'm pretty sure. And it's the combination of those little secondary animations, like on the ears, the beard, and the clothes, that I really think add up to sell the motion and give the animation as a whole a lot of charm. I rendered that out as a PNG sequence so that I could composite it together with the background in After Effects. Now this cover wasn't originally designed for animation, so I did have to extend the background a little bit, but Sha'an had laid the artwork nicely, so that wasn't difficult.
I think Ben's being quite generous. I don't think I laid my files very well. When I'm frantically working in Photoshop, I don't lay my files very well. Or when I know someone else is going to look at it, I'll do it well. But in this case, like no one else is going to look at it, and I was like frantically trying to put together all my spreads. I know he said that I had organized the layers nicely, but I kind of feel like I didn't. I don't know. Maybe he's just being polite. Sorry, Ben.
I'd separated the bigger stars so I could animate them individually. I have a mid-ground layer of trees that loops seamlessly so that I can reuse the background.
Wow, it must be expensive to produce all these cartoons.
Well, we cut corners. Sometimes to save money, our animators will reuse the same backgrounds over and over and over again.
And then 2 variations of the foreground tree which could swipe past. Putting it all together in After Effects was pretty simple. It's not that much different from my rough animatic, which is swapping out the layers for our cleaned up layers. These mid-tree layers are all just sliding to the left, a bit slower than Bo is running, And these foreground trees are sliding much faster, all just with a couple of position keyframes. And to make it loop seamlessly, I made sure the duration of my work area in frames was a multiple of 7, because a character loop is made up of 7 frames, and made sure that the trees were in the same position in the first frame that they were in the last frame. I originally had it half as long at a 42-second loop, but I wanted 2 different shooting stars in the background. So I doubled it and extended it to 84 frames, so I had time for both. Some subtle extras that I added in After Effects were those shooting stars, which was just a straight line that I drew with a pen tool, and then I added a mask to grow and shrink, revealing and making the shooting star disappear. And then on top of that, I added 2 roughen edges effects to match the textured style.
Oh my god. I feel like he did so many things he didn't have to do. Like, Ben is so detail oriented. Like, he's so good at like the fine details. And like that stuff that I didn't even really put in the book, he just thought to do it. He's so good. I can't even praise him enough. When I notice, like, there's just keeps being things that I notice, like the grain on it, or like the shooting star shooting across, and it's so small. Or just like the texture, or like the bounciness of different elements. Like, it's just so amazing to see him work.
Sparkle just by scaling up and down, and I have all of that happening in a separate comp. I made the smaller stars sparkle in the background by first separating them onto their own layer, and then on the layer above them animating this fractal noise effect with the contrast way up to get some random black and white values. And then using that as a luma mat for those stars underneath, so that where the areas of this fractal noise is black, the layer of the stars underneath is transparent. And the random motion in that layer gives the stars a slight flickering effect at different times as I go in and out of transparency. I added a new adjustment layer at the top and added the noise effect and gave it an 8% noise, so it felt a bit more tactile, as if it was a scanned-in book cover. I also added a very slight shake as well to the whole animation.
Amazing.
By adding the transform effect to a new adjustment layer, and on the position property of that transform effect, adding a wiggle expression, so it shifts randomly 1.5 pixels, 6 times a second.
So cool. Ben knows how to do all that stuff. When I'm editing videos and I want something like that on text, I just put the projector effect on at a very low frequency. It never looks good, but this looks great. Like, I don't understand how he thinks of this stuff. If someone ever wants to make Bandits into a series, Ben will be the person that I'm like, you must consult with him. He knows what's going on.
As if it was misregistered or rolling through a film reel. Now in total, this took 3 full 8-hour days, but I did this in about 4-hour blocks over a few weeks. It took 8 hours to create the rough animation, 12 hours of cleaning up the main run sequence, and then 4 hours of compositing it all together in After Effects. Now that might seem like a long time to animate a few seconds of animation, but frame by frame animation takes a lot of time, even longer if it's textured like this. So it isn't unreasonable by any means. I've included the After Effects project file to download for free down in the description. I have stripped out all of Sha'an's original artwork though, to avoid a flood of bootleg books on the market like Bandits. But it's there if you want to take a closer look at how I set up the parallax, the expressions, and effects, so you can take a deeper dive. Thanks again to Sha'an for letting me animate this. Do check out her channel.
Thanks, Ben. Oh, that was so good. You have to go watch the original video. Also, check out his work, especially if you're interested in animation. Even if you're not interested in learning how to animate, watching his videos is really good in how to develop your taste. And as I said, Ben is so good at like tiny little details. Hearing from him, noticing things and like knowing what to look out for, I feel like will help you develop your own taste and develop your own eye for like small details and stuff like that. He's so good. I'm always so impressed. Like, I will die being a champion for Ben. He's amazing. And I'm so proud that he has like a YouTube channel. It's grown so much over the past year. I'm so happy for him. Okay, go follow him. And I hope you like this video. Go pre-order Bandits if you're watching this and you want to. There's like we've got a few versions. We've got a gift edition, which is like fully wrapped, got stickers, it's signed. It's got a book plate in it. It's just a fun one, you know, and it'll be ready in time for Christmas. We've also got a regular, just a plain book, and we've also got bundles with Zoom, so you can like save on shipping, because I think it's the same price to ship both books together than it is to ship one. So if you want to pre-order, please do. Definitely go check out Ben, and I'll see you very soon. Bye.